and welcome to the SD-WAN and SaaS conference 2020. My name is Sven Freudenfeld. I'm part of Lanner Electronics, and I would like to give a quick overview on some of the use cases for SD-WAN and universal CPEs as a disaggregated platform. We will go in some of the use cases where we see deployments with in a zero trust network in terms of security, but also the use case of zero touch provisioning for some of the enterprise WAN, but also the deployment of a universal CPEs with the aspect of SD-WAN. Disaggregation and workload consolidation has been taking place for the last couple of years. So we have seen that adoption of the concept of disaggregating hardware from software over the past couple of years, and primarily with the aspect of deploying enterprise networks as a managed service, where the platform is a disaggregated commercial off-the-shelf appliance with some of the functionality which provides secure access with trusted platform management, for example, for the hardware functions, but also for secure BIOS options on this, which allows to deploy multiple network functions on the enterprise side. It's been broadly adopted from what we've seen so far. And I will go in a few use cases from what we have learned over the years in building these appliances with our partners to be deployed in a high availability fashion as well. Light Reading or Heavy Reading is a research firm which has done a couple of researches, and I found it quite interesting to see the outcome on that, where we actually can see the disaggregation taking place in the network. And if you can see here, the outcome on the survey shows that not only is the virtual CPE with 52% one of the key target areas, but also associated to the virtual CPE, the broadband network gateway as a virtual Bmg, as a disaggregated network function operating on commercial off-the-shelf hardware elements as a virtual network function. The top of the line, of course, is the movement towards a virtual RAN, radio access network element. But let's say a generic trend, what we have seen over a few years in the past. So what does it mean when we operate universal CPEs or virtual CPEs for SD-WAN? That means that basically we offloading some of the purpose-built appliances and really scaling up the platform by deploying virtual network functions within the enterprise network, where some of the applications are being cloud-based. So that means that we need to operate specific platforms which are allowing to operate multiple virtual network functions on multiple scalable appliances. So that means that the software is independent from the hardware, and it becomes more cost efficient when being in a vendor lock-in by building or using purpose-built appliances. So we have created a portfolio of Whiteboxes which can scale from small, medium, large, and extra large, and have key elements built in for network security, including trusted platform management, including the virtualization tools for DPDK or DPDK or SRIOV. These are elements which help deploy a virtual environment on this customer premise equipment. In addition to that, we we built in an infrastructure which allows to not only deploy an MPLS network, but also to deploy a 4G or 5G infrastructure to leverage that network connectivity. Beyond that, we created an ecosystem which can leverage these virtual appliances and really focus on the key elements, which is really the key differentiator on the application itself. So you can see here we have a broad adoption on our platform and the broader ecosystem we've been working with. So there are some of the companies have specific or uniqueness in the application, and I will show you a couple of use cases in this presentation. So one use case would be, for example, a universal CPE deployment for a retail store, for example, where we can integrate multiple network functions for security, for IoT, firewall, and so on. This is a partnership we have been long-standing with a company called Adva. We have been working and validated their solutions also with carrier network. So full Verizon ODI certification, but also we certified for ATC for AT&T for PTCRB, and what it allows the service providers to go instantly into deployment without the need of a long-term certification process, because this certification has already been covered. So we are pretty much day zero ready for deployment of the network, and this will help to scale all the network functions instantly without the need for full recertification. The second example is a partner we've been working with is Equinox. It's a similar concept. They have the orchestrator and they have the certification. They're also leveraging on the certification we have done on this platform. And it is a universal CPE use case with a optional built-in SD-WAN function for routing and the firewall, but also to deploy third-party applications on the same physical appliance for SD-WAN, quality of service, but also firewall and IT. So it's giving everyone the leverage to instantly go into a deployment. The concept of a white box basically is, it's an open commercial off-the-shelf network appliance, and then operating multiple network functions as the OS for networking, but also some of the third-party applications. So you can see here a basic structure on how this can come into play. So in this case, we're using our NCA 1515, which can scale from 4 cores all the way up to 16 cores. And we are able to provide Open vSwitch, virtualization KVM, SRIOV, DBDK. These are all tools built into the appliance. And we can then, operate either a license-based option for SD-WAN, but also an embedded routing function, and then on top of it, the virtual network function. So this is just one example of that. For SD-WAN, I think our biggest story to tell is that we have been working very closely with 128 Technology, which has built a session-based infrastructure for routing and networking. We have probably one of the largest deployment in North America with our partner 128 Technology. We also, co-certified the application on our platform for AT&T, but also for Verizon, and this helped the service provider to ramp up significantly in this use case. The end customer is a retail store for auto parts. That's why we have used this image. So these are approximately about 5,000 locations, which deploy in a redundant HA fashion, where we have two appliances basically providing the high availability function, connecting to an MPLS network, but also an internet, plus the option to use an LTE network. Connected to the enterprise is basically point of sales terminals, but also the enterprise voice over IP network infrastructure, and provides unified communications on that. So this is a real life scenario, what we have been deployed and operated. And the benefits are pretty straightforward. So we're providing an infrastructure which allows a 100% uptime for all the stores. We're reducing bandwidth usage, reducing cost, leverage multiple connection, reduce a large number of headends, and in this case, we are working with 120 technology, using or implementing their session-based routing function, and it's a significant cost savings for the operator for managing the enterprise network. This is an example for the store availability, and also the not only data, voice, but also the availability for the point of sales terminals and what have you. So it's really it's showing you that the cost savings by using a disaggregated solution is significantly at approximately 30 million cost savings in the network as an operating model. So I encourage everyone also to take a look at the presentation from 120 Technology, Ritesh and Kevin. They will talk in more details on the solution. And really what it comes down to is, when you look at a disaggregated network, what the business model is, what we wanted to see is that most of the service provider are adopting the same physical hardware, because that will leverage a cost savings and reduce entry-level cost. Everyone expect that the hardware is one of the lowest cost element, but in fact, some of the elements are a requirement to have built into it. And that means SRIOV support, trusted platform management, Wi-Fi and LTE support, certification for the platform. These are all elements to help the service provider to go to the market in a short period of time. And we as a company have created a framework and a whole portfolio around that, which can be leveraged instantly without, as I said, without the need of additional investment for full additional certification. Also, we've been working on this for at least the last 4 years to provide universal CPEs and SD-WAN appliances. In 2019, the Gartner report showed that 55% in the universal CPE and SD-WAN market is adopting on the Lanner appliance. So these are either software partners or service providers and operators who have identified Lanner as the key company providing appliances, scalable appliances, primarily for universal CPE, but also SD-WAN deployment models. The next level of disaggregated networks is really the aggregation point, where we see the higher demand will come in also when we have that model is the virtual Bmg sites. These are usually carrier edge sites, or service provider edge sites, which aggregating the universal CPE or SD-WAN devices, and then basically acting as a broadband network gateway. And these appliances also need to be scalable. So we have created a framework to build appliances which can sustain that at the service provider edge, and also have some capabilities to offload some of the firewall functions from the customer premise device towards the service provider edge device. And typical use case in this case will be, this is a use case where they've been used as a multi-dwelling unit. These appliances sitting in a building closet, telco closet, where we're aggregating some of the network functions coming from the customer premise equipment. And the purpose here is to have it fully software defined without the need of specific truck roll to deploy the services. So this is shorten the time to service, but also it's easier to manage to deploy and bring newer applications to the end customer. And this is bringing me to the end of this session. Feel free to reach out to us. As I said, I also encourage to listening to the use cases presented by 128 Technology, Equinox, but also by ADVA in this conference. Thank you very much.